Monday Night Football is a huge game for the AFC West as we have the Raiders going into their second home, Los Angeles. Want to know a fun fact here? 75% of the tickets, according to Vivid Seats, one of the leading ticket providers, are reportedly going to the Raider Nation. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago, how much of a home field advantage the Chargers really have in SoFi. Apparently, they just have none when it comes to facing the Raiders. That's a huge liability for this team as they move forward, particularly in the division now that the Raiders are good. The Raiders 3-0 for the first time in forever. The black hole is going to be rocking even in SoFi. Early line on this game is that the Raiders are going to be 3.5-point underdogs. I would love them with the points, but I love them to win outright. That is my early pick here.
Let's get right to it. I am rolling with the formerly San Diego Superchargers to win this week against the Raiders. And this is just the simple math of Justin Herbert has really good protection. And if the Raiders can't put pressure with 4, their defense is going to absolutely crumble because it's not a lot of names on that defense outside of the guys on the front, like Yannick Ngakoue, Max with 2 X's, Crosby, Cleveland Ferrell, Carl Nazib. After that, you got a lot of Littletons in the secondary. Jonathan Abrams, a big hitter, but has been terrible in coverage so far. So this just feels like a classic case of Herbert's going to get the time and Herbert's going to connect on all his passes because that's what Herbert does. I think he's second in the league right now in completion percentage. Someone can fact check me on that. Our producers that don't exist can fact check me on that. But I think Justin Herbert is second in the league in completion percentage right now. So the stat that's getting floated around this week that I found kind of cool is that Rashawn Slater, the left tackle for the Chargers, has not allowed a sack since week 4 of 2018 at Northwestern.
Did he take a year off? Isn't that a little bit of a fugazi stat right there?
Yes, you are correct. But still, the point is true that the Chargers invested so much in, well, first of all, just getting Anthony Lynn out of there and getting a different offense in there for Justin Herbert, but 2, investing in the offensive line. They brought over, I think, is Try Turner a Charger now? I can't remember if Try Turner was a Charger. He is now a Charger.
I thought they cut him because I remember that name floating around this offseason. I thought that they let him go, and I remember hell even giving the somewhat fellow Chargers fan on our Slumpbuster media team, Eris, a little shit because I'm like, man, you guys just invested this guy and you let him go. So I think that's about right. I think Trey Turner is not there. Or Trot Turner.
So I just wanted to make sure, because if I had listed him as like a major addition, it wouldn't have been great analysis. So to that point, still, they gave Corey Linsley the largest contract of any center in the NFL. They spent their high first-round pick on Rashawn Slater, who was a top 10 prospect on the interior, who then they moved to the left tackle position, and he's pretty much been an anchor so far this year. And much to my chagrin, in fantasy football, first place in my league right now, just putting that out there, Mike Williams has blown up this year for the Los Angeles Chargers. Finally, a true wide receiver 2, part of an offense that throws the ball a lot, and Keenan Allen's more of the yardage type guard, the 10, 11 catch type guy. Mike Williams is that big threat that kind of works across the middle of the field in that pseudo Tyreek Hill role. I know the Chargers don't run the same offense as the Chiefs, but it's a pseudo Tyreek Hill role for Mike Williams. And it's been awesome to start him on my fantasy teams the past 2 weeks. So for those reasons and more, I do like the Chargers to not have a letdown game after beating Kansas City with that once every year Patrick Mahomes 4 turnover game, or Kansas City Chiefs 4 turnover games. I know only 2 of them were Mahomes' fault, but it still is that game where the Chiefs just turn the ball over a bunch and end up losing.
I'm glad you brought up that potential, the letdown narrative, the letdown game. I think that is one that I am going to hammer in making my selection here, and being resolute in the fact that I think the Raiders will go 4-0. Now, we'll say last year, Herbert, you mentioned, how can this defense stop him? Last year against the Raiders, Herbert was 1-1, so 1 win, 1 loss against them, split the series, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, and 113 QBR. Well, I'm going to say Gus Bradley being there in Las Vegas, or being there in Los Angeles this particular weekend, I think is a huge addition for the Raiders, because who lined up against Herbert each and every day in practice there? Gus Bradley and Gus Bradley's defense. And there's a lot of former pieces from that Chargers defense last year that are now on the Raiders team. You mentioned a Denzel Perryman being one of the main ones there. I think that one thing too, that I think the Raiders are going to be able to do well in this game is everyone looks at John Gruden, thinks of him as more of a finesse guy. His offense is more finesse built, but they want to punch you in the mouth. They want to come at you hard, and they do it with a strong running game. Yes, Josh Jacobs may miss this week again, but Peyton Barber, Kenyon Drake, this is a solid enough backfield. They may get Jalen Richard back from injury, so a great little pass catcher, third down, passing down work for Derek Carr there as well. And the Chargers defense hasn't done anything to these running games over the last 3 weeks. Antonio Gibson had a good day against them. CEH had a good game against them. Both Zeke and Tony Pollard had good games against them. If the Raiders could get that running game going early, that's going to set up Derek Carr on tons of play action. Got to use his receivers, got to use Henry Ruggs III, Brian Edwards, Darren Waller. And I think those are going to make the Raiders the favorable pick heading into this tough divisional matchup on Monday Night Football. Great game. I'm excited for it. The over-under is sitting somewhere around like 52 points. I think that early bettors are going with the over there. Kyle, do you concur? Is this going to be one of those shootouts there in SoFi?
Well, I'm 0 for 2 picking those so far. I thought the Chiefs-Chargers game would be the under, and then I thought the Cowboys-Chargers game would be the over. So I guess I'm testing my luck here. We're going to talk about the Seahawks game in a second. I'm now
I guess
2
two Chargers games, though. That's probably the key there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say the Chargers, I guess the thing I'm banking on is the Chargers offense. Chargers defense, I just don't know what to do with yet. Like you listed all the stats about them in the running game, but also they've held people to 20 plus points. And if your team generates turnovers, it can usually mask a poor defense or make an average defense look better. It's just not sustainable over the long run. So I just don't know what to do with the Chargers defense yet. So I would say, what's the over under set at right now?
I was overhearing it. It was like 52 points, I believe, in doing my pregame research. I don't have it written down somewhere here. Let's see if I can do a quick little.
It was like 52 and a half. Then
scrolling
I would
fast
say,
research. We have at 52 and a half.
52 and a half. Yeah, there you go. Juju knows what he's talking about. I would just stay away from it. Yeah, who needs producers at this point? I would just stay away from the bet. If I had to guess one, I would lean to the over just because I generally lean over on NFL games. But I would stay away from a bet on that one. I know this is like nuanced middle of the road talk here, but I would stay away from the gambling on that one.
Come on. Who needs strong convictions? Middle of the road? It's comfortable in the middle. It's safe in the middle. Stay in the middle. Anyway.
Yes, that's where I like to live. I'll stay in the middle on this one.